Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is set to start the Belgian GP from last on the grid after Mercedes triggered multiple engine-related penalties during Friday practice at Spa. The world champions introduced two brand-new upgraded engines for Hamilton's car, breaching the permitted allowance a driver can use during a single season, and condemning the championship leader to the back row for Sunday's race. The tactical decision to start Hamilton from the rear of the field at the overtaking-friendly Spa circuit is the long-anticipated consequence of the mechanical problems which blighted the world champions Mercedes car at the start of the season. A series of engine failures left Hamilton with just one unit in his permitted allowance for the rest of the season, rather than risk a series of separate demotions during the remaining races. Mercedes and Hamilton have elected to take all the pain in a single hit. The introduction of the two new units, which has seen Mercedes spend 5 of their remaining 11 tokens, currently means Hamilton faces a 30-place drop. As it currently stands, Hamilton will start the race on the back row alongside, but just in front of, former McLaren teammate Fernando Alonso. But a third new engine is also expected to be introduced for Practice 3 on Saturday, which would result in Hamilton being certain to start from last and his demotions adding up to 75 places in total. However, despite 22 places comprising this year's grid, the remainder of Hamilton's penalty will not be carried over for subsequent races after the rules were amended for this season. Hamilton does, however, remain one reprimand away from an automatic 10-place drop following 2 driving misdemeanors earlier this season, were Hamilton to triumph from last on Sunday. The world champion would make F1 history, as an F1 Grand Prix has never been won by a driver who started from last on the grid. The lowest starting position for any of Hamilton's 49 victories is 6th at the British GP in July 2014. Realistically, the likelihood is very, very minimal. Hamilton said of his victory hopes, "Never say never, I'm going to go for it, but it's unlikely." However, teammate and world championship rival Nico Rosberg is adamant Hamilton cannot be ruled out. With a bit of luck and safety cars at the right moment, there is no reason why he can't come from the very far back through the grid, especially on a track like here where you can overtake very easily, Rosberg told Sky F1. 2 years ago, Hamilton finished third in the Hungarian GP after starting from the pit lane and spinning off at the second corner. "I really don't know how far I can get up. It depends on the pace of the other cars," said Hamilton. "When I started last in Hungary a couple of years ago when the gaps were much bigger, I came third. Sunday will definitely be harder than that. I just hope I can get into points. As long as I'm going forward, that's all that matters. We have these penalties to save on costs and prevent teams from using a fresh engine at every race, which would send costs out of control," explained Sky F1's Ted Kravitz. "Every driver is essentially restricted to 5 power units per season, and if they go above that because of unreliability or breakdowns, they have to take grid penalties." Hamilton had some bad luck at the start of the season, and now he will have to add a 6th or 7th or even a 8th element to those units. He is taking the penalty now because the 2 circuits coming up, Spa and Monza, are so long and it's easier to recover from starting at the back of the grid than at, say, Suzuka and